Real Disney Podcast contains language not suitable for children, and in some cases, most adults. This show and its hosts have no affiliation with Disney. They are just perfectly normal adults who grew up watching Disney, just like you. Listener discretion is advised.
Only now, through the magic of the wide Super Scope screen, is it possible to see Fantasia, enriched with full stereophonic sound, as it was originally conceived by Walt Disney. Years of planning, years in the making, years before its time, Walt Disney and the talents of 1,000 craftsmen bring to the screen all the wonders of Fantasia. With Leopold Stokowski and the Philadelphia Orchestra, a whole new world of entertainment. An experience to cherish in your heart and memory forever.
We've reached the Real Disney Podcast, episode 3. This is one of your hosts, Sandy. And I have with me my co-host.
I am Tom.
And we have our special guest today, Mr. Brandon Bonuni, our lovely tech guy.
Can't engineer. Believe it. Somebody let engineer Brandon on the mic. This is going to be a crazy episode.
Yeah, sorry guys for anything that may happen be said about anything.
So what's been going on with you guys for this week? Anything cool?
Let's see. Since we last recorded, what's been new? Well, it's been raining nonstop.
Yeah.
Everybody loves to hear about the weather.
Right.
Like, you tune into a podcast that you're probably listening to at a way later date to hear what the weather was like when they recorded it.
And they don't even give you the date they recorded it on. It's fabulous. Everybody's been working, regular, nothing exciting.
Nothing too crazy.
No.
Tom's not pregnant yet, so we're okay.
We're good. If I do, I'm going to make the cover of Time Magazine, though, because it'll be the first.
Awesome.
I mean, that one on Oprah, that wasn't even legit. Like,
that wasn't a real
first pregnant man, you're like, no, it's a woman. So
you got a uterus, you're a woman.
I felt like we were lied to about that.
I heard the jury's still out on science.
On science.
Yeah, on science in general.
Science in general.
You know,
I don't know about
the thing about science is you don't know. I mean, it's not like you can prove it. Oh, wait.
So, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into our Disney movie for this week. And next in line is Fantasia. So, for this one, the history, it was released November 13th, 1940.
1940.
Way before my time. In fact, 40 years before my time. So, it makes me feel a little younger today.
Only 40 years. That's crazy, right?
It is kind of crazy when you think about it that way.
How much it changed from 1940 to 1980, and that was only 40 years.
Do you think it made any kind of profit?
In 1940, I think it was probably hard to make $1 because, you know what I mean? People weren't just spending their extra money and...
Yeah. The war was still going on and stuff.
Just not that long out of the Depression. The war had started by then in Europe.
Profit.
No profit?
I don't know how much it cost to make. Brandon, do you have that?
It was about $2.3 million, and
that's
it was a pretty high budget, but it was different because it wasn't just like a full like animation movie. It was actually it started as the Mickey
and the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Yeah,
it started out as a short, and that in its own was pretty crazy because I guess it was one of the first times where they filmed a real person acting and then they animated over it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I read about that he was told that it was just costing too much to do just that little thing.
Really?
And then if he wanted to try to get any money out of it, he needed to make it part of it.
Because how do you make money off of a short film? You still can't really even make money off of it.
Well, he got all chummy with Leopold Stokowski, and he like really liked it.
Good old
liked
Leopold.
Yeah, he's a BA.
Now, Walt was a fan of his music, but Walt wasn't a musical himself, as far as I know.
I think
I think he
liked songs
appreciated music. Yeah, you can tell that, but It's funny, someone who's not a musician or something is that.
And this being the
he
third
could still
movie.
animate to sound, which
Yeah.
is amazing. That was something that he always, even like Steamboat Mickey or whatever.
Yeah, Steamboat
all those
Willie
old
was
cartoons were
awesome,
synced up
yeah.
to the music.
But everything is. This is the third movie out of the gate
Yeah.
that Disney company produces, and it's no real characters for the people to hang on
I
to.
mean,
And
it's an anthology movie pretty much. I mean, it's not even.
Yeah.
So you can kind of tell that the original idea wasn't we're going to make a full length film here.
Well, it was
but-
a live show. It was a live show, and it was back then. It was pretty revolutionary. I mean, it's a big moneymaker. It like as of
yeah.
2012,
Eventually-
it was like $78 million.
Wow.
It's 2012, accumulated.
Yeah,
but
but
still, yeah.
especially when it only cost them 2 point something to make.
And when they made nothing initially, that means for years it's been slowly
It's the
bringing in money.
22nd highest grossing film of all time.
And it's actually
It's on the AFI,
on the AFI, yeah,
list.
top
It's-
100. It's really like critically acclaimed. And the cool thing about it is like Walt not being a musician, I think this movie had a huge impact like on music and like getting music into the mainstream. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there were cheesy musicals, I'm sure, before, but like, here's like,
Here's
This was
actual
classy.
good
it
classic.
appeals to everyone
Yeah.
too. Children even liked it.
Totally. And the live show was awesome because they were doing stuff. This is when surround sound became invented. Was the singular moment in
Right.
time was Fantasia. Like this is where
So
surround
this
sound
is the
came.
movie that they had to spend a lot to get it in the theaters and use the
Yeah,
sound.
they
type of
recorded
thing.
the soundtrack. They were used like 30 something mics on the orchestra and mixed groups of instruments into 8 different tape machines planted in the basement of the theaters.
Wow.
And then they'd play the soundtrack all at the same time, so you'd have like horns happening up here, things,
Wow.
other things happening. It's supposed to sound like it was
Quick
real.
break, the ice cream man is outside. Anybody need ice cream?
Yeah,
I heard it.
I think I heard that.
Ding, ding, ding.
I
Ice
bet
cream
I don't
man.
know if it picked up on like
And I have my own cup guy over here too. It's kind of nice.
your personal assistant.
I do.
Do what I can.
Step my
Hey,
fingers.
the thing that was tripping me out about this was like how like much time do you think there was between when the film was done to when it premiered? Had they had their premiere?
Oh wow, I don't know.
Like if you had
You
to
know?
guess,
I'm gonna go. It seems like it might be a short time frame, so like 3 months.
what do you think, Brandon?
I don't know. I mean, I think this was like a snowball effect of a project.
Yeah.
It just like
Right?
blew up and it came together pretty quick. And I mean,
Because I can tell you, it was 4 hours.
Shut up.
Swear to God.
what to get off the final
From
reel?
the time they were done with production to when they got the film over to the theater for the premiere, 4 hours.
Well, I thought it was a short time, but not. Just 4
That's
hours.
crazy. That tells you how like it all stemmed from you made this short film and spent a lot of money. How are we going to make this money back? Let's just throw something together real quick, and it turned out to be a masterpiece.
So
Oh yeah, totally.
yeah. Where does it really start for us? We're introduced to
Well, you meet
we're introduced to the
this guy
Philadelphia
named Deems
Orchestra.
Taylor is the
you see James.
MC.
Yep. mhm.
He's got a really familiar voice, like it's almost Disney-esque.
Yeah.
I think he might have played a character, but he was famous for being a master of ceremonies. Like, I don't know.
He was that era's Ryan Seacrest.
He was the Ryan Seacrest of the
This
classical music.
Is Fantasia.
Exactly.
When Igor Stravinsky wrote his ballet, The Rite of Spring, his purpose was, in his own words, to express primitive life. And so Walt Disney and his fellow artists have taken him at his word. Instead of presenting the ballet in its original form as a simple series of tribal dances, they have visualized it as a pageant, as the story of the growth of life on Earth.
And he introduced what I like. It's kind of a fun, controversial topic in the music world is like, does music actually tell a story?
Right.
And stuff like that. And, the boring science-minded might say that, no, it doesn't. You just push airwaves. out
Right.
And it turns into emotions and whatever. But
Yeah, because there are those people that don't even notice a score when they watch a film, and they don't realize you're feeling the way you feel, not just because of what you're seeing.
Exactly.
We're swelling up music. Like, people don't always key into how important.
So maybe this was something really good for people to watch. There was no dialogue. There's nothing to distract you, really.
Yeah.
I mean, there's characters. They're dancing through the number or what have you, but their movements are so in sync with whatever music is playing that it really just lets you... Because most of this, when I was watching this, I was just listening. I wasn't even watching what was on the screen.
I mean, people back then were thrilled just to see Stokowski conduct anything, you know, because the guy he's great. And, like, you know, everything that he did was pretty awesome. So people were thrilled. I don't know, maybe the war was on and was still kicking people's wallets asses, but I think this was a good way for them to cheer up and go see something.
Yeah, I think it was right for the time. Yeah. It's like something you watch and you just get mesmerized. Like, you just get caught up in it. And there's no, you know, real dialogue or story that follows through everything.
Right.
Now, the thing about this movie for me is, like, it's an anthology, but I feel like it's still, when I would watch it as a kid, it felt like a cohesive story, but it really, one didn't have much to do with the other. Watching it now, my perspective is so weird.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even put any thought into, like, that this is...
Because back then, Disney movies were, you know, adventures.
Yeah, you just watched it start to finish, and it was a story, and you learned a lesson, and we're not getting it. And that early in the game, like, they're already just doing what they want. Like, nowadays, there are movies put out solely for the effects and the sound, and we want to see a special effects blockbuster, but this is probably the first time where so much thought was put into just the visuals and the audio.
Is this a movie you'd want to see remastered to be in brighter colors and in HD and have the even better sound?
Yeah,
to
I think
it now?
people still geek out on especially the audio of it.
Yeah. Well, the audio on it is pretty dang good.
Yeah.
I mean, for what it is from back then. They were dead on as a orchestra. They were just so good.
And this does get re-released from time to time. And
Yeah,
what
There's a
does,
sequel
but
that came out in 1999.
it was his nephew, right, that headed up that project?
Yeah.
It was
Fantasia 2000.
Yeah, it was. And even Dean Taylor came back and did a little introduction on that one back in 1999. So think of how
That
old
was
he
cool
was.
too.
I didn't watch that one. I've never seen that one.
I think that's the one I
Is that more phantasmic like?
might have seen more times.
It's got kind of a similar concept
Yeah.
in some ways, but
Yeah.
you know, some of the animation is like way cooler.
I guess we'll get
There's a lot of
so much better drawn
Yeah.
because it's newer.
We'll get to it eventually, but I remember, like, this the first time.
It's not like the Return of Jafar.
Yeah. It's not one
quality
of
of
those
sequel.
cheesy.
Little Mermaid.
But I remember, like, thinking how the water looked in that one, like, was groundbreaking to me for some reason. It just looked real. It looked fluid. You know what I mean? When you would see it, it was like, I just remember thinking, that looks really good.
So why don't we talk about the different segments? Just kind of go through each one of them real quick. There's 8 different segments in the movie. It starts off with our live action, our composer.
Man,
And
get
some
introduced.
chimes falling apart.
yeah.
I wonder if that actually was meant to happen.
Yeah, that would have been funny if
I've heard about that
just happened
happening
and then
and
they
it
played on
sucks.
it. You have, and
I've heard stories of it. It's never
Yeah.
happened to me.
I guess we didn't properly say, like, Brandon is a great musician and has been part of orchestras, and
I try.
yeah, that's why he's kind of in on this episode. Is just he knows
He's
more
got the
about
knowledge of the music.
classical
part of it.
training and music and stuff like that. So, we're two schlubs who
You just watch the movie.
who enjoy Disney, but he knows.
Sandy was playing Sims on her phone the entire time we watched this.
Oh, calling you out.
I was cleaning too.
Now nobody.
Cleaning.
That means listeners don't put any weight in what Sandy says.
It doesn't matter.
She
what
was
I
not
say.
paying attention.
She's done her research, but
I did watch it, but it's a little harder for me when there's no story.
Yeah, you want that princess to be
I want
rescued.
something to happen. I need
Yeah.
people to talk. They gotta talk so that I
Coffee
can know.
talk about it. Mickey, talk. What are you doing with the magic and the hat and things? Talk.
That's exactly what I was doing. I don't know how you knew that because you weren't here, but
That hat's iconic.
yeah, definitely.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, so you're gonna go. You guys are going to Florida
Disney
soon,
World,
so
yeah.
you're gonna see that giant replica of that hat at Hollywood Studios.
Is that what's out there now?
Mm-hmm.
I know it used to be him like on a big flagpole with that hat on. But I don't know if they've changed that.
It's like it's the hat. You walk in the hat, like you walk in the hat,
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's
they
the
have-
building is shaped like the hat.
Cool.
Anyway, so the
So-
first segment, what was like when
Then
we had
what's
to
the
jump
first actual
into?
musical thing we have going on here?
Well, it's Bach's Toccata and Fugue in D minor. Everyone knows it's the and they did it to just like lights and patterns that some of them sometimes look like the bows of the violins playing.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's almost like it was filler. Like it's very easy to animate. Like you just have
Right.
to sync it up to the but that's all it is. It kind of just says that music doesn't have to mean anything. You
Yeah.
can just let it become lights and colors.
they
and
just
shapes
kind of
your-
like, here is just a visual representation of exactly what you're hearing.
Yeah.
Basically.
I wonder
That's
how
cool.
they decided what order these should go in. Like if someone's like, no,
Yeah.
that doesn't go well after this one, and
Yeah.
we should put
true.
this one first, and because the animation doesn't.
Well, if they were only done 4 hours before the premiere, they probably just they're like not putting that much thought into it. They're like,
Yeah. I'm sure old Stokowski was really the biggest, one of the hugest powers of behind the music. Like,
Yeah.
even down to like the mixing of the multi-tracks in the theaters.
Yeah.
He was down there like
making sure.
making the final product sound the way it was supposed to sound.
Now, when it came out originally, it was more billed like his name was kind of. They kind of used
Yeah.
his name to gain popularity because like it was a big deal, right, at the
Yeah.
time, and I think even might have been like originally like Disney and I'm not gonna try to pronounce the last name.
Neither will
It
I.
is. Yeah.
Present Fantasia.
Yeah, I mean, no one in the listening world can even see this right now, but they built
With
this-
Stokowski. Okay.
Yeah, they definitely made sure that you knew that he was involved with it.
See, that's pretty cool because like now I don't think they really focus on that as
No,
much.
they wouldn't care at all.
Which is so weird
Again, there's no
because-
credits in this movie. There's no
Yeah.
no credits for. I mean, obviously, you have nobody talking,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I mean, there's notable conductors out
Yeah.
there, but I mean, in today's
How weird.
Disney crowd, they wouldn't. Who cares? Who cares
Yeah,
about a
that's so
conductor?
weird though, right? Because
Well, they want that
was a
one-hit
huge
song
deal.
now.
Like,
Yeah, they want those "Let It Goes."
yeah, right. Which I mean,
the life is a highway.
we'll get into some of the movies that caused that shift, but
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that aspect too. But it would be nice to
have to be more.
because obviously a lot of Disney fans do love music and musicals, so they do like music. It would be nice to kind of because it was a thing like there's that ride with Donald. You know what I'm talking about? The 3D. This might be Disney World. Maybe
I
you
don't
haven't been
know
on
the
it yet.
ride with Donald.
But it's similar, like it's a 3D attraction, kind of like the Muppets thing and the Bugs Life thing, but you're watching Donald and he's with a symphony and it's like that. So like that's kind of like part of Disney, what they used to do, and you don't see it as much anymore.
That's true. I
'Cause-
will have to look into that.
and that might have just been, because at the time that's what was popular, and now like pop music's popular, so now we see that. Maybe that's all it is, but
Yeah.
So the next little part was the Nutcracker Suite. Mm-hmm. I almost said cacker.
yeah.
The Nutcracker.
The nutcacker, nuts and cack.
So this isn't just the lights and the waves of brightness or
Right.
whatever. This is
You get some characters.
No, this is what Sandy calls the dancing racist flower dance.
Okay, let's get into it. We have a segment. We got a new segment. We are now going to just find the most offensive thing in each of these movies and point it out. So now with this week's most offensive Disney moment is Sandy.
I think that that the mushrooms are racist.
How is that?
The mushrooms themselves are racist.
Like, those mushrooms are dicks.
They
Okay?
are total racist.
N-words all night, inappropriate jokes. I'm never hanging out with those mushrooms.
I know what I meant. No, I don't like that the mushrooms are depicted as Asian people that are bowing down.
Okay, but then there's like the thistles, and they have
those
the
are
big,
Russian.
and they do in the
That's
clearly a
racist
Russian
against
dance because it's
Russians.
a Russian sounding part of the song.
Is that racist?
So yes.
So,
but it's just used to symbolize like what if
No, I think that they're depicting them like when the hippos are on stage. What's playing? Like when the hippos are on there. What song is playing?
that's
Fat
Dance
Fat
of the
Bottom Girls,
Hours.
I think.
Fat bottom girls.
It's like, there's a theme here. Everything that's up there, they have some kind of prejudice song
No, you're
playing.
thinking of Dance of the Hours.
Yeah, that's not racist. How can hippos be racist? They're
Well,
not
you can't.
depicting a
You
specific
can-
race
I mean-
or a specific region of
but
the
you,
world.
But
It's
you
just-
saw it as like
They're
the
de-
mushrooms were supposed to be a certain race.
Yes, they were Asian.
Is it because the mushrooms kind of look like a rice
Well,
bag?
They
see,
have,
yeah, it's just-
they have the hat on,
Yeah.
the big hat on, and they have the little body, and they waddled.
Did
But
they-
the song is supposed to kind of feel
were
like
like,
it's an
"Oh."
Asian dance. It's supposed
Yeah.
to be,
So
but
that
you're in the
makes
forest,
sense.
so all you have in the forest are little mushrooms and
Yeah.
I still believe it's racist, but continue.
Okay,
That's
well,
fine.
no,
Most
that's
offensive
it.
Part for
That
me
for her,
is-
that's it. So that is the most offensive. If you're wondering,
well,
what
plants
is the
are a
most-
different race, so technically,
Yeah, it's true.
I guess.
We're not gonna get all technical about that. I refuse.
But overall, what do you think of this segment? Like, I know you find some racist mushrooms offensive, but what about the music, the way it plays with the animation?
I mean, it's all right. I think everybody's favorite is the Mickey part.
Hey, we're not there yet. Okay,
We're almost there.
Don't you dare jump in.
I think it's next.
What do you think, Brandon?
Well,
Because you're the music guy. Like, what's up with this? Is this a good?
I think it's. I find it more symbolic than a racial slur of any means, because when you look at the actual original uncut release version of Fantasia, there's these shots from the part called the pastoral symphony.
Yeah.
One of the black lady horses was shining the shoes of one of the white horses.
Wow.
So see,
And
Might be something to this.
yeah, and then
you.
there's some other thing that was pretty
and
darn
if you
suggestive of
well, okay, to
racial
continue on this racist thing,
racial.
racial issue that I have with this movie. In that whole scene with the Centaurians, they're all with their same color. It's a pink girl, it's a pink boy, it's a purple boy, it's a purple girl. They're all with somebody of the same color. Why can't I have a yellow boy if I'm a pink girl? Not in Disney.
Well, what if that little black?
Because
No,
if
that
you
can
get
be-
a red and a white together, you have a
makes
pink baby. Yellow and red make an orange baby. See, we could have a whole.
Creating colors.
But
I
no,
like
you
it.
can't do that. Walt Disney did not.
But they still
want
got
to.
along. Well, except for the shoe shining one. But maybe I don't know.
They
So
may have
what do
still
you-
got
it's
along,
just
but they
weird
were
for that
not
to
allowed
happen.
to marry each other if they were different color.
Was the
It's just
intention to expose you? Do you think the honest intention was to like just expose people to different cultures? Because it wasn't, like
Well, the music too. I mean, the music's supposed
you got
to
to get a
carry
little
this
taste
theme.
of each. Yeah, you get a little taste of each
Okay.
region
Sometimes the music is supposed to take you to
Yeah.
I can see
Asia.
that.
because people weren't really traveling
me
the world,
personally,
and
with
it
the-
wasn't quite as much of a melting pot as it is now.
True. With the Nutcracker Suite, though, it's like then it obviously wasn't as popular and wasn't played all the time, but now we hear it so often. It's
Yeah, that's
not
true.
something unique.
Every Christmas. Yeah,
Every Christmas you hear it again.
You hear it
and
on
it's
something.
the ballet. I know it wasn't the big thing back
I've
then,
seen
but
cartoon versions of it. And
yeah,
exactly.
There's
so
even
for
Tom
me,
and
this
Jerry
is kind
Nutcracker.
of just like
which is my personal favorite.
not my favorite part, simply because it's so familiar.
Yeah.
The piece of music is so familiar.
Okay. So what we got the biggie next?
The
Yep.
Sorcerer's
the
Apprentice.
piece de resistance.
This is it, guys. It's what we've all been waiting for. It's the reason for the movie. So what do we got here, Brandon, as far as music?
The Sorcerer's Apprentice by Paul. I probably will say it, Dukas.
Got dookie on
Duke
your ass.
Ellington.
Got that dookie on your ass. You need to go get back in there and get them Lysol wipes.
This one was supposed to be like, this song is specifically about a story.
Right.
Here it is.
Here we go. Yeah.
So was this music composed for the animation?
No. It was composed as a piece, a while ago. I don't remember how long ago. It's based
No,
on an
but
old
this is
poem.
kind of the passion. Like Disney's like, I want to see this. I want to, because this is supposed to be Mickey's big comeback, right?
Yeah.
He's fallen out of popularity. People care more about like,
Snow White.
and Pinocchio and Disney. And I think at the time this came out, actually Donald Duck was the most popular Disney character.
That's crazy.
Probably just based on shorts and stuff like that.
They had comic books.
Yeah. So Walt's like, we need to get Disney. We need to get Mickey out there, because that's the face of Disney.
Yeah, he was redrawn, I guess. They had a new master animator take over for this one and drawing Mickey.
That's cool. So he's kind
I
of
think.
I like this part, maybe because I like Mickey.
yeah, right. But
And
we
I like the
Mickey
magic,
because
too.
Walt liked Mickey, and he like made sure that we get some more
That's
Mickey.
true.
Yeah.
That we get what we want.
So he must
That's-
have really had a real affinity for this character, obviously.
I mean,
think
there's a
that-
lot of people who haven't even seen Fantasia but can connect to this wizard Mickey.
Yeah, exactly.
They know it. They've at least seen this.
They
little
know, they've
segment.
heard Yin Sid. They know like that hat.
Yeah, they know. I still think people have probably seen this one part and the hippos
The most, yeah.
The most.
Remember when Itchy and Scratchy made fun of him on
Yeah,
Simpsons?
yeah, that was good.
Chopped
And-
him up into dust.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse or the hippos?
Neither.
No.
They did like their own.
Like he
Thing.
he chopped up the brooms, but they multiply, and then he
Yeah.
kept chopping them up, and then
That was like their Sorcerer's Apprentice.
but he chopped Itchy into like such fine powder, and then breathed them in, and then chopped them up from the inside because it's awesome. It's Simpsons.
Because that's Itchy and Scratchy.
But this iconic thing was kind of, this is Walt's, like this is why the movie got made. So is this your favorite part, you think? I mean, this was obviously kind of the
This
catalyst
still
for
isn't
everything.
my favorite part.
No?
It's really up there, but my favorite part's closer to
I think
the
this is my favorite part. And I,
Sell out.
I'm sorry, guys. Hey, I'm sorry. I love me some Mickey.
follower.
No, it is. It's a good song.
I think even musically, like not just visually,
Yeah,
even
no, I
musically,
love
like
it,
the
but
most.
I think the next part was really my favorite.
This Sorcerer's Apprentice scene we've seen kind of parodied in Sword in the Stone. There's a scene with kind of control of the mops and buckets, and then in the Nick Cage classic.
was that Nick Cage just now?
That's right. I was in the room. I was in the room for a second. I gotta step out.
I think it's strange how much magic there is in all of the
Yeah.
Disney movies. So I wonder if that was a big thing then, or if that was something that was so unknown they could do anything with it. Like now it's technology.
Yeah, it's your excuse to like, why does everything? Yeah, magic.
Yeah, so like nowadays technology, we have it in our minds. We can do anything with technology. They can build anything. So in a movie, they can be like, oh, this computer exists that's tiny and
Then it was magic. But Walt had
You
a
add
thing
water
with
to it and it
magic, though,
grows.
right? The Magic Kingdom.
That's
It was a big
true.
deal to him. Magic. He was into that, like whole
The illusion of
mystical,
it all. because it's
whimsy.
still like that. The
It just
illusion that
made his
you're
kids happy. He loved
Yeah,
it.
that's what's cool about it. He stayed a kid, and I think that's where a lot of this comes from.
It's true. So the
He
next
spent
part,
a lot of money too.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, these movies so far, he's not in the.
He's not-
in the
Yeah,
black.
these are
He's
still
not-
investments.
He's not in the black
you know?
yet. I mean, he made a lot of money off Snow White,
yeah, he made
but
his
I
money
would say
back on
by
that, but
this point, he's probably
he's already lost on Pinocchio.
losing
And he's
money.
losing again on Fantasia.
Yeah.
So you think by this point in time he'd be like, I don't think I'll make any more movies for now. But it's all that European. They couldn't sell it overseas.
Yeah, right.
Still, so
They only had domestic money.
I think he made out all right in the end.
Oh, I hear that he was quite successful in his later years. All right, so what's the next
The
scene?
Rite of Spring. This is my favorite.
This is your
one.
favorite. Okay.
I really like this one. I like the music. I like how it starts out. I like the whole springtime of it all and the raindrops.
Yeah.
I like all of that part.
This is one that does stand out when you look back, like when you were a kid watching it.
You know, when
Especially the music.
when this piece first came out, when they first wrote it, it was like a dance too. So there was,
Oh, really?
yeah, and I mean, some people say there was a straight up riot that happened or happened during its performance, but
Wow.
people basically just went apeshit because of it. It was
Yeah.
so new and so tribal.
So
and
this was some cutting edge
it
music.
was yeah,
Wow.
it was rhythmic and it was like tribal.
Yeah,
was,
it does have a good beat to it. Yeah.
yeah, and so like people were like, there's reports of like people just like slamming on the people in front of them, like their heads, like just
getting
tapping
into
on
it.
Yeah,
They
and
just want rock and roll so bad, but they don't even know it yet.
yeah, exactly. And then of course, then there's the other people like, hey, stop that.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess that's what they sounded like.
That's like Sean Connery. He's here with Nick
Sean,
Cage.
let's get to the rock.
Oh goodness.
Got a reunion right here. Man, it's not every day on the podcast two superstars reunite like that.
No,
That's
it's
amazing.
crazy. So for either of you, is this your favorite part?
No, not yet.
We haven't got to your favorite part yet.
I
Nope.
do remember this vividly as
From a
opposed
kid.
to the first couple. Yeah, as a kid.
Yeah, I don't remember the first two at all, but this one and the sorcerer, obviously. And then the hippos. And that's all I really remember from this, from when I watched it when I was little.
All right, so what's next?
They took a brief little intermission. It's kind of cool.
I like that. Yeah.
Is this where Mickey comes out?
He comes out at like the end of the intermission.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they have like a little jazz clarinet
Yeah.
trio
The
going
jamming.
on.
Just jamming.
Yeah,
dude.
they are.
Little
Might-
something for the
Something for the
folks.
ladies?
Little
Oh.
something for the ladies.
That was cool. That was cool. I like that jam.
Yep.
And then they jump into
The controversial pastoral symphony.
Why is it controversial?
Well, that's where the
Is that what
shoe
you-
shining horse
right. The
was.
Oh, okay,
he's got
yeah.
the black
Yeah, we're back
horse
to that.
and shining
And
one.
there's quite some erotic overtones floating around this scene too.
Yeah.
There's something.
I did notice myself getting aroused, and I didn't know why. But now that you say
It's
it,
the boobies. It's the boobies. You see boobies in this
It's
part.
just.
It's true.
It's just. Yeah. It's just. It's not like the last couple movies that
Right.
Disney put out.
yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely different. I wonder if
There's wine.
I
you know,
wonder
there's
if
getting
Walt came
drunk
up
and-
with these characters. Like he was like, "Oh, for this
You-
I see this," or if it was the animators, "Hey, this is what we see."
right. He's like, I've got Sorcerer's Apprentice, and he farms out. You make one, you make one.
Yeah, and then
Possible.
he had to have final approval along with
Yeah.
the composer or the conductor. I mean,
It's possible.
it'd be interesting to know.
Yeah.
So this is your favorite?
No.
No,
Oh,
we're
what?
not there yet.
God,
Wow, guys.
So then we have Dance of the Hours.
Uh huh.
Is this your favorite?
This one's a good one, but it's still not my favorite.
Oh, so
Oh.
now we know what the favorite is. It's the last one.
Because there's only one more.
Hint, hint. So what's up with the music on this one?
Well, this is. I mean, everyone could probably hum this.
Right.
Song.
You hear it and you never know the name of it. It's one of those,
Yeah, I wouldn't.
like
know the
most,
name of it.
symphonic music.
Yeah. Amilcari Ponchielli. It's not a household name.
I think that was a great relative
parts.
of yours, wasn't it, Brian?
Ponchanui. What your middle son was asking who the first Paganucci was last night.
We're talking not to our Italian friend off mic. For anybody that's confused, like they
What's
start
up to
to-
Nick Cage in the room? He's sitting in the corner. So,
they're still taking
Maybe they're missing
the.
a
Hey, well, he is a Coppola, so
see,
technically he
There
is
we go.
Italian.
All ties together.
You know, I'm glad you bring that up. He's back.
So what is this part? I don't. This is
The alligators are supposed to represent night, and like the ostriches are mourning, and I think the servants, the hippo and her servants, are supposed to be the afternoon. Like it's supposed to be the times
wow,
of
so
the
taking you
day.
through the day. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a cool
basically.
concept.
Only this was pretty darn creative, I think. I mean, it's funny, and you know, the alligator gets squished.
It is. It has more humor than some of the other ones.
Yeah,
I like this one.
I think I'm gonna have to remember that for Dumbo because there's something in Dumbo that deals with ostriches and things like that. But I won't say it now.
Sandy's gonna get into the
got
symbolic
into
conspiracy of.
Here we go.
There we go. Watch out. I do like the tutus on the hippopotamuses. I don't know why that makes me
Is that the
laugh.
first time we saw that? Because I feel like I see that a lot.
It's a big old butt. Then
It's been the first time. And I wonder what was up with that. Yeah.
Makes me laugh. I don't know why.
If you think of the opposite of a ballerina, it's a hippo.
The dawn of the animated BBW.
Yeah. The BBWs are out in full force in this one. That's for sure.
Well, they had the ballerina ostriches too, and of course they were acting like ballerinas.
That's-
Surprised they weren't like smoking cigarettes. you
If
know.
there was an animal equivalent to a ballerina, an ostrich is probably not far off,
Right.
Because they have a built-in tutu.
right? And
Really?
thin legs.
And they're enormous and frightening.
Yes,
Those
exactly. Like a
those
ballerina.
ballerinas.
That's exactly what I was thinking. They are frightening.
Well, after Black Swan, I mean,
You never know.
it's kind of
They are pretentious.
Yeah, pretentious ostriches.
all walking around with their nose in the air. That's just because they have long necks. I don't care. He has an attitude, and I don't like it.
I have issues because that one tried to eat my shoe at the zoo that one time. So
Ostriches are creepy, though.
They are creepy. They got those
Something
big
weird
old
about it.
eyeballs.
What are
and
the
big
big
old
ones
beak.
in Africa that they ride? It's not an ostrich, but
Is it the
it's similar.
emu?
Emu.
I think it might be even something other than that, like bigger than that even.
What?
Chocobo.
Chocobo. Totally Googling this.
Smokeabo.
Go ahead and move on to the last part, which is your favorite.
Yeah, Night
Or
on,
like Google.
Night on Bald Mountain, because it scared the crap out of me. when
Yeah,
I was
people
little.
did.
Oh, I did love
Yeah.
the villain guy in this.
They got some flack for this, right? People thought it was a little satanic or something.
I mean, it's pretty intense, and the
pretty
music
dark.
doesn't help. But the
Yeah.
music's pretty scary too.
What else
it's-
could you have put with it? You know what I mean?
Based on the tone of the music, you mean?
Yeah.
Like where
It's
could you
supposed
go?
to be.
Yeah.
It's definitely the most emotional. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's the skeletons rising out of the graves and floating around.
Right.
And that's creepy. That was never in any Disney.
I like that scary aspect of Disney, like Haunted Mansion, stuff like that. I like that there's always a little bit of that around to go with all the,
Yeah.
wholesome fun and stuff. Because even, I mean, every movie we've done so far, Snow White, Pinocchio, they've got a little bit of a dark thing to them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so you like this? Who's the composer here?
Modest Mouse. No, it's Modest.
Modest Yahoo.
Mussorgsky. I'm so sorry for.
I'm sure he's
These
gonna
last
come after
names
you.
are ridiculous.
I'm not. It's a great piece. It's spooky.
Yeah.
And it's got all those spooky intervals in it. And you can hum along to it. I think that's why I didn't care for the Rite of Spring so much, because it's more of an abstract music piece.
Yeah.
It's not something that I have there's a melody or a theme to it
Yeah.
that I can.
Yeah, this
Catch
gets in
on
your
to
head a little bit.
Yeah, even though it's scary, it gets in your head.
I'm being whispered out over. It's creepy. Sorry.
All right, so this is we finally got to it. Your favorite.
Yeah, I'd say so. Of course,
So as a whole, let's go ahead and give a rating on
Rate
this.
this. We're
What
rating it as an anthology film. Like we're not doing separate. We're
Not
gonna
separate pieces.
all together.
All together.
Okay.
And yeah, go ahead, Tom.
I'm gonna say 4.5 out of 5 on this. I
That's
think
pretty-
this is a masterpiece. Like I think they couldn't have really done any better. Like
Do you think this is like the first Disney movie you really remember from childhood?
You mean as far as like of the 3 that have come out, do I remember this more? Mm-hmm. No, Pinocchio's definitely I watched more when I was younger, but I do remember the scariness of the last scene, and Sorcerer's Apprentice is definitely one of the most recognizable and familiar things to me when I think back to Disney as a kid.
Well, I guess I'm going to give it a 4. Which is my best rating yet.
That
I'm
is?
still a stickler, though. I think that this is the only Disney movie that sticks out to me as not really having a storyline. and they really branched out and tried to do something different at a really early stage in their production of doing movies. So I give them credit for that, and I love the music and everything, but I wish it was just sharper. The images were a little, like, not everything is as
You know,
to
like
the music as
warm-
You
the
feel
warm-
you think you see that they were rushed?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Brandon?
Well, it's a 5 for me. I mean, not just, because I enjoy music so much, but, I wanted to give it points because of the forward thinking of animation style that they did on The Sorcerer's Apprentice, but it was only for that segment. And, Disney movies always have something amazing new technology that they come up with, like almost every movie, if not every other movie.
They did innovate, yeah.
But I give it a 5 because this was also a live show, and they also were extremely forward thinking with they used multiple video projectors at the same time, and they used multiple tape players to give you what we now call surround sound. It didn't exist.
Right, yeah. And that's the first
It was called
stereo.
Fantasound. Yeah, it was like Dolby surround sound for 1940 something.
That's right. That's cool. Like, there wasn't that before.
Yeah. And it was Tarkovsky, and he's just crazy cool, and he was so good in it because he doesn't use a baton. He's just uses his hands.
Yeah,
and it makes him look more almost cartoony.
Yeah,
himself,
it does.
so.
It's a cool style, and I think that had an influence too. Did you see that?
I did like that way that they did them in shadows for that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean the
For those
sequel's
pieces.
like video quality. Like you would like the sequel a lot better probably, Sandy, because it's sharper animation. And they had some time to plan it out, and the music's awesome in it too. But I can see what you mean. There are some feelings of rushedness.
Yeah,
in some of the
definitely.
animation.
When it was kind of thrown together.
Like the unofficial first appearance of Tinkerbell.
What?
What?
Huh. That's something that
Fairies and stuff.
there were fairies in this. I wonder if that's the germ of the idea for Tinkerbell.
Maybe. Thanks, Brian.
You do see recurring things with Disney.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
You see
With
recurring
the spider
things.
web, she does with the dew and whatnot. And
Yeah,
it looks like
the fairy
at
does.
the very beginning of every Disney thing when
Yeah.
she flies out and hits
Kind of
the wand
interesting.
Yeah, you do see like the hippos come back later. There's fairy. You see recurring things. Yeah, I like that. It's cool.
The hippos and crocs always stood out to me because Robin Hood's one of my favorite, and because of all the various animals that pop
Yeah.
up in that one.
Yeah, it's funny when you look, like, if you watched some of the ones that came out more around the time you were a kid, where you can look back at Fantasia and see a lot of inspiration. Like, there was a lot of stuff that was in that he drew from later. That's cool. That's one cool thing about going back and watching these now that we're older.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
All right, well, there's the ratings, and we kind of covered the whole movie. You guys,
So we hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.
bye-bye.
Oh, snap. It's Audio Snap.